Good morning, HikeTalkers. Hey, Big D here, and Bentley, the mole getter. Man, he's been doing such a great job, and that was we just got a fresh cut down here, and that was a brand new fresh mole mound here just a few minutes ago, and we got deep in there, but he didn't quite get him yet, so I'm sure he'll be stalking him soon. As you can see, he's still, Hey, you wanna go get some more down here? Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on, buddy. Anyways, hey, Big D here, 50. Today's number 50, which I'm super pumped about because you know what the greatest fear, more than dying, is to polled Americans, and probably global, public speaking. And I'm super excited because a few years ago a buddy of mine challenged me to spiderwebs challenged me to get on Facebook and do a Facebook, well, we didn't have Facebook Live then, but cut a video every day. And he didn't say it had to be about anything specific, just do it. It could be about anything. You got to cut a 3 to 5 minute video, no editing, cut it, deliver it. And it was not fun, it was not pretty. I look back at those and oh my God, they were so bad. But relative to what, right? The key is it doesn't matter how good or bad they are. What matters is the activity level, because what he did for me was set in motion the greatest thing out of all the things that I've overcome. The greatest thing and the biggest fear that I've had for my whole life was public speaking. And a lot of you know me as being a bit of an extrovert, and but that has nothing to do being an extrovert has nothing to do with your ability to communicate effectively to a group of people, or one person for that matter. And so I accepted the challenge and started doing the videos, and it was a very, very scary thing. Horrible experience. It actually wasn't that bad. I did it. I overcame it. It doesn't mean that I don't have fear getting up and still and talking in front of people. It just means that I just know that anxiety is personal, that I'm looking at myself and putting judgment in other people's minds about me. And at the end of the day, you can't care what other people think about you, right? You just got to do you. My buddy just says, D, just do you and you'll be fine. And so I started doing these hike talks, and you know, some of them get really long, and I'm okay with that, and if some people aren't, that's okay too. But my mission's always been to try and keep these things short and concise with a message, something you can walk away with. And so today I want you to walk away with this, is that in order for you to really do what you want to do with your life and in life, you're going to have to overcome some fears. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be fearful. That's a system that's built into our bodies, into our reptilian brain, to save our ass when something bad happens. The challenge is that we've been so conditioned to fear such minor things in our life that we just hold ourselves back, that we just don't do anything anymore. We're just kind of flatliner, mediocre, you know, because in this great nation, greatest nation on the planet, hands down, bar none, nobody's even close. Depends, you know, I'm not going to talk about all the bullshit you're hearing in, you know, the media. Won't even go there. Statistics, you just got to look at real numbers, not the fake BS that you constantly see, right? Real numbers on what's going on in the world, how safe we really are, how much greater givers we are, how much healthy we are, at least from long-term sustainability living, right? But just recognize that if you're in the United States, if you're a citizen, you got the greatest, you've already won the lottery, it's the greatest. And many of you have heard me say this many, many times, and I'll keep saying it until you believe it and you understand it. Greatest country on the face of the planet. Why? Because it gives its citizens the greatest opportunity to win. We all have the exact same amount of time. We all have the exact same free enterprise system, tax code. And the question is are you willing to step out and do something with it? If you're already doing something that you love, fantastic. If you got some other issue that you're trying to overcome, let's get after it. It just takes you to start. It just takes you to start creating little habits, changing little habits, just shifting, right? That's why I'm so animate about teaching and taking everything that I've been building for the last decade plus and start bringing it public so we can start making significant changes in people's lives. And a lot of people we give a lot of money away as well. A lot of people give money, they give their time, in various ways to help various charities, and we do as well. But the biggest way I can give back is to help other people win. And unfortunately, based on how we were all raised, you have to recognize that your life is not your fault. Wherever you are in life. Now that doesn't mean you're not responsible for your life. I'm just saying that your belief structure, everything that you see the world through these filters right now that are in your mind, in your brain, your belief structure was absolutely 100% produced by other people. Your community where you grew up, your parents, your siblings, your preachers, teachers, coaches, everybody that's been in your life has participated in this production that you have going on in your mind. That's just that same reel, that same film keeps playing over and over and over, which then ultimately leads to getting stuck in our lives and not being able to overcome, because we're living in a world that somebody else created for us. We're living with a belief system that somebody else created for us. And that's why I challenge you it's time to step out and start doing you, start becoming you, start really challenging the things that you've been led to believe, because I can tell you that the vast majority of people, all people at whatever level needs a reboot, needs an update, needs to update your system. And if things aren't working for you in your health, in your relationships, in your playtime, in your wealth, I don't mean just making income, I'm talking about wealth, true wealth. And there's 4 components that we teach in that model. But big question is that are you truly living the way you want to live? And if you're not, then knock it off. Why do you stay there? Okay? And I can tell you why. I'll tell you what it was for me. Is that I had a lot of pain in the past, a lot of crap in my childhood, losses, deaths. Lost my brother, lost my left eye. My dad left when I was young. The first love of my life cheated on me, left. So a lot of things happen in life. And I wasn't really taught mechanisms to deal with it, because that's not how my parents were raised, on how to manage and deal with things and move through them, to take whatever you experienced. I'm real excited soon to get into not deep neuroscience, but just to help describe some basic ideas of how your brain works, so you can understand how this big machine functions, so then you can start actually making the changes, or understanding why we do the things we do for the periods of time that we do, why we stay in pain. And all of these things lead back to just habits that we've developed over the years based on a faulty belief system, limiting beliefs that somebody else built into us. How crazy is that, right? We can't figure out why we can't win, or why we're not winning consistently, or when we do get a good win, why do I revert back, or why do I end up blowing it up, or and getting into this crazy sort of hamster wheel of repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. And I mean, obviously, if we consciously did it, we wouldn't keep doing it. So you got to start understanding about how this machine works up here, and how you can start driving and making the type of changes you need to start winning. For me, and the same thing it will be for you, is you have to discover a why. Something powerful enough for you to get started. Just get started. For me, it was my kiddos. Why I didn't do it for my wife, I don't know. I'm not gonna, keep judging myself, but I needed something that was gonna really drive me. And the big thing for me was to make sure I was the example for my kids. And, being 100 pounds overweight and being drunk all the time and sort of just being the haha funny dad, but just being a dumbass. Yeah, and I was a pretty high functioning person in those states, but I allowed the food and the alcohol to become where I focus my addiction, my tool that I used to overcome my pain. And I realized that, listen, anybody that actually accomplishes anything of any significance in their life has various addictions, or has an addictive personality or mentality. And I think if you're going to be good at anything in your life, having addiction, or being an addict, if you will — I hate this terminology that I'm an addict. Everybody's an addict. I mean, if you want to win at anything, that means you have to focus your time, energy on something, right, for long periods of time, get really good at it, and that will overcome whatever the thing is that you're trying to overcome. It's amazing, right? So we use things like addictions to focus our attention so we don't have to think about or experience the pain from something else. And for me, I had a lot of pain, didn't know how to deal with it, so I just drank it away. I ate it away. And when I realized that my kids were watching this, and that they were seeing me basically blow up my life, and it wasn't just, what they were seeing, it's the stuff that they didn't see, like failing business, right? I built a beautiful company, and because I lost my focus, my attention on building it, which, by the way, I put all my attention there because that became my addiction. And I didn't focus on my family. I didn't focus on my other relationships. I did not focus on my health. I certainly wasn't focused on my recreation like I should have. And all I cared about was soothing my pain somehow. And so it just ended up being, I had to really take a look in the mirror and say, dude, what are your kids seeing? Are they seeing a parent that's going to win? Because let me tell you, parents, your kids are listening to what you say, but they're watching what you do. And guess how we learn habits, right? We see things and we start experiencing those things. Kids are stressed out, like all kinds of crazy levels today. Parents, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and go, hey, are my kids all freaked out because of my behavior? Right? Tough one. That's a tough one right there to swallow. Right? Are my kids all jacked up because of me? And I was absolutely, that just scared the hell out of me, knowing that I was being a wrong example for my kids. And that moment, I made it real. I got really real with myself. And boom, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm going to be the example in every aspect of my life, so they can see how to win. They can see how to overcome. And I'm going to tell them everything. And that was the moment I just became completely vulnerable and just started walking that path. And I'm telling you, that was a tough thing in the beginning, because you don't want to tell your kids. I mean, you want your kids to look at you as being the hero, and I was this just failing, man, bad. That was a tough time, man. It was a real tough time. But I just kept pushing through it. Like, you know what? I know I'm going to focus on my health. I'm going to focus on my relationships. I'm going to focus on my recreation and the wealth, and get these things in check. And started building, little simple tools that I made sure that I paid attention. X amount of time of the day is going to be devoted to those 4 components. And as I did that, I started realizing that, hey, if I'm really intentional about putting my time and energy into something, that I could get done with it much faster, because I was focused on it for a period of time, and I knew I had to cram that component into this time slot, and then I'd have time for the other things. But when you don't have a plan, when you have no vision, you literally are just waffling, and whatever comes at you, and you're just not focused. And that's where I was for a lot of years. I didn't know what the next step was. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life and career and all these other things. I just knew there was 4 components in every person's life, and I'm going to figure out how to get great at all of them. And that's, what does great mean? That's different for everybody. But for me, I want to have a significant level of information, if you will, about each one of those things. Start benchmarking where I am, so I know that I'm making progress. And then I got myself focused on just the activity, just the habit, just like I'm doing with this HikeTalk thing. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know how I was going to start it, but man, it's been so much fun to do. And we're going to take this thing to very, very, a much bigger platform, and get really excited about. I'm really excited about where we're going to take this, but I'm just doing this because I want to figure out how I can give back effectively on a consistent basis. And man, if I can just help one person just tweak things just enough in your mind, it's totally worth it. It's been totally worth it. All the time and energy that goes into doing this, and and overcoming my fear every day of making these big, long, sort of long-winded rants. But if you listen very carefully, you're going to get what you need. And that's the message, that's the mission here, is to help you get into this thought process about, there's no such thing as balance in life, so recognize that, okay? And people that tell you got to have balance aren't doing anything in their life either, I can promise you that. You have to be intentional, right? In order to win in anything, you have to get out of balance and focus on it for a period of time. How long? However long it takes for you to get good at that thing. How long does it take for Michael Jordan to become the basketball player he is? Right? These things don't happen by just happenstance. They happen because significant intention was placed in an area. You can go right down the list of, superstar, Hall of Famer, best in their game. And the cool thing about life is you can win in that game, and you can do it right now. You could start right now, start making some changes. Just thinking about what you want your life to look like. I just couldn't bear the thought of being this, alcohol-driven, overweight jerk. And that's what my kids see and saw, and that's the lessons they were going to take into their family and into their life. And I just wasn't about that. I was not going to allow that to happen. So I'm working hard, man, to get you to see this, how important it is to be the example for the people around you. Be the example. And the example isn't just showing them the victories. The example is helping them see the struggle and the fight and the thought process, how you're thinking about the thing, and just share it with other people to help them overcome as well. I'm really excited about today. It's a big day. It's a big deal for me to do this 50, and I'm stoked for 51 to 100 and beyond. So thanks for joining me on this, and communicate with me. Private message me if you want. Public message. Hit the like, don't really care. What I want is that some kind of engagement, interaction, to know that this is landing on somebody. Okay, now I'm gonna keep doing it. So I hope it helps you. That's my mission. At the end of the day, it's about being a great example and making a difference out there, making an impact in other people's lives. We've been so blessed to be born in and on the greatest country in the world. So take advantage of it. Let's go be great today. It's Big D for HikeTalk. We're out.